Good afternoon, this is Matthew Lindsay with Precision Home Group here in Anchorage. Coming to you live every day to talk to you about business and life. So today marks July, right? We're in July, it's July 2nd. We just finished up the second quarter. So every end of quarter, Alicia, my wife, and I, we sit down, we go over the company, where are we at, what happened over this last quarter, and look to the future, what's going on in this next quarter, an even bigger picture. Hey, are we on track to hit our goals? And if not, how do we do that? So today I was going to break down what that meeting looks like. Now we call this a battle plan. Why do I call that? Because I'm going into battle. I look at my goals as something that I have to fight for, something that I need to work for. So with that in mind, that's why we call it the battle plan. So this meeting is going to be different from, typical goal setting or, other different types of things like that. I personally write goals down every day, keep them at the forefront of my mind. And those are long-term goals, mid goals. That's going to be goals for the day, the week, and things like that, right? But the quarterly goals have a special place. We are looking long-term, but we are also setting goals. Hey, what targets do we need to set for this next quarter to make sure that we hit that end goal, right? So we take this big picture goal, the big why, the big thing that you're working towards, and you're breaking it down incrementally down to that quarter, right? So the first thing that we do in these meetings is we look back to the last quarter. So we're going to take a quick look back at what happened, analyze that, figure some things out, and then look to the future, to this next quarter. So when we look at the past quarter, what we're going to do is, hey, did we hit our targets? That's what we're looking at. So we set targets beginning of that quarter for that quarter, and we want to know, did we hit those targets? Now, if we didn't hit those targets, we got to ask ourselves, hey, what happened? Why did we not hit our targets, right? What actions should we have taken to be able to hit those? Or if we did hit those targets, maybe the opposite. Were those targets big enough, right? If they weren't big enough, then it was maybe too easy to hit those. Maybe we weren't thinking big enough, we weren't growing big enough, things like that. So you got to keep that in mind. So the first thing we look at is, did we hit our targets and the reason for that, whether that's good or bad. Number two is, hey, what new opportunities, what new business opportunities presented themselves to us? So a couple things you got to keep in mind here is there's always going to be new investments, new business opportunities, and new things that you could do, right? You can't be that kid in the candy shop, that shiny thing over here, and just jumping from thing to thing to thing, because you're never going to actually plant your feet and grow in one business, one opportunity, right? So when we're looking at new business opportunities presented, what we need to look at is, are they aligned? Are they in line with what we're doing already? So with me in real estate, we're looking at other opportunities that we can grow in the real estate sector, right? So there's different types of real estate, there's different branding, different marketing options, different things that we could do, but it all ties in together. Now, if you have a new business opportunity presented to you and it's not in line, it doesn't work coherently with what you're doing already, it may not be the best option for you, especially if you're just starting out. So that's the second thing. So the first thing was, did you hit your targets? Second was, were new opportunities presented? The third one here is new business development. Now when I look at that, I'm looking at, hey, were there any big clients? Were there any new big projects that came up? Were there new developments in your business that helped spark that growth? And then analyze them. Okay, where did they come from? How did I get them? What type of prospecting did I use? And what did those new clients, those new projects do for the company? So you can analyze them. And the last one is, what is the biggest learn principle? What was the biggest learning objective that you set for yourself? Alicia and I, every quarter, we're looking at, hey, what seminar can we go to? What new class can we take? What people can we get around? What new books should we be reading? What new thing can we do to develop ourselves and learn more, to actually grow our knowledge of the industry, of ourselves, of business, of all these different types of things. It's personal development. So we're always going to set a personal development objective. So the question is, did we hit that? And what did we do? So that is all surrounding looking back at what happened the last quarter. So that's going to be a small portion of this meeting, of the battle plan, right? So to sum it up, look back at what was done. We're going to look at, did you hit your targets? What new opportunities were presented? We're going to also look at new business development. That's going to be the new clients, new projects. And what was your biggest learning objective and did you hit it? Now let's move forward. So we're going to look at this new quarter, and what we need to do to start with is we got to set new targets, right? So if you're working in sales, if you're working in a business, maybe those are revenue goals, right? Maybe you're looking at how many clients that you've worked with, things like that. So you need to set new targets for your company for that quarter. Now, if you just are floating through life or floating through the business and just kind of hoping that you make it by, or maybe you have a little bit of profit left over, there's not too much that you can do with that, right? But if you say, hey, in 10 years I want to do this, well, that gives us a number. It gives us something to work off of. If you have long-term goals that you want to work towards, then you can break those down by year, you can break them down by quarter, by month, by week, and that is what gives you your new targets. So if you have a dollar amount, a revenue amount, clients you want to service, things you want to sell, whatever it is, that gives you the ability to actually gauge your targets. So that is what we're basing our targets on. So that's the first thing. We're going to set new targets for the company. It's going to be in revenue, sales, clients, all that kind of stuff. Second one is, are your goals big enough? So every quarter we look at our long-term goals, right? The 10-year, the 15, 20, 30, 50 lifetime goals. And actually, about every quarter, those goals grow. Because as we grow as people, as Alicia grows, as I grow, we learn, we're more capable, our happiness grows. We can actually start thinking bigger and bigger and bigger, and because of that, our goals grow bigger and bigger and bigger. So what we need to do is analyze, hey, what were those lifetime goals? What were those, multiple years out goals that we set last quarter, and are they still big enough for us today? If not, we need to increase those. So that's the second thing. The third thing is, how are you going to hit your new targets? So we've set targets for this quarter. Now the question is, what actions do I need to take place to actually hit those? Do I need to implement a new product? Do I need to implement a new service? Do I need to hire more people to be able to hit those goals? You need to look at, okay, what were those new targets and how am I going to hit them? Because if you just sit there and say, I'm going to sell $100 million worth of real estate this year, and I don't take action to do it, it's not going to happen. So I need to hire on new people, build out new systems. I need to get known in my community. I need to market myself. I need to get out there. So those are the actions that we need to take to be able to hit our targets. Next one is going to be the learning objective. This is huge. We talked about it a little bit. What was our previous learning objective? What is our new learning objective? So again, what courses can you take? What seminars can you go to? What events out of state or in your community can you go to both network and learn? Is there some type of sales training that you can take? Is there some type of industry-specific training you can take? And what books are you reading? What are you consuming? As in books, literature, any type of print or media. Is it beneficial to you, and is it positive? Are you learning from it? So you're going to set your new learning objective for that quarter. The next one, we're going to identify who you need to meet and who you need to do business with. There's got to be a couple people in your community or outside that you've identified as big players in your industry, as people that you need to get in front of. Maybe it's a big client you haven't been able to land yet and you need to get in front of them. maybe that's going to be who your target is for this quarter, right? You need to identify